Contingency log number 56. Codename, Warriors by Night. There are many things that hide from the sun, only appearing once it has vanished from the horizon, appearing at the dark of night, and in my experience, most do not have the best of intentions. But there are some exceptions to the rule, beings who would rather work from within those same shadows, being the one that brings fear to those who go bump in the night. I'd like to think of myself as one such being, but the target of this contingency is yet another, the warrior known as Goliath, a man who is more than what his appearance may suggest. Known as a gargoyle, there was once a time where his kind were plentiful, happily defending a castle previously located in Scotland. It was a peaceful agreement between his people and the humans, until it wasn't. Despite his people's good intentions, fear can be a poison in the mind of those who feed upon it. This spread through the humans until it reached a tipping point, resulting in the majority of Goliath's people being destroyed, and the few who survived being turned permanently into stone. That is until the curse was broken some 1,000 years later, allowing Goliath and his remaining warriors to awaken once more. Gargoyles are stronger than the average human, bordering on superhuman. But Goliath himself is a cut above the rest, something that makes sense given his status as the leader. With claws strong enough to pierce through concrete, he is capable of scaling buildings. In most city areas, a building can scale anywhere between 8 to 9 meters tall, and Goliath was not only capable of climbing one effortlessly, but did so while carrying someone on his back, proving that he also has a large amount of stamina to match his strength. He has also been seen lifting cars with a single hand, making it clear that he is not someone you want to get within striking distance of you, something he can do rather quickly, and if not by foot, he'll certainly close any gaps by gliding. I should note that a gargoyle's mode of air travel is specifically through gliding on air currents. They are incapable of self-propelled flight and require a high altitudes to jump from first. There is a situation where this is not the case, but I will get into that later in the contingency. His durability is also beyond that of a normal man, able to shrug off being tossed into the side of a car hard enough to push it across the road, even capable of surviving attacks from electrical-based weaponry. I am unsure of how many voltages these weapons output, but as they were likely created to counter the gargoyles, it stands to reason that any normal human would have lost their lives. Granted, Goliath himself did not walk away from such attacks unharmed, as they had managed to render him unconscious. Goliath also has the added benefit of being more than just a powerful force, as his years of experience has garnered him great wisdom, knowing when to act and when to show restraint, and willing to accept help where it is offered. Though his nature has been abused in the past, leading to a few acts of betrayal. That said, should one harm his allies, he is not above seeking vengeance in their name. There are a few weaknesses that can be exploited, the most obvious being Goliath's lack of range. While he may have proficiency in using weapons from the medieval era, and not above using firearms, his typical method of combat is to rely on his own body. Keeping my range from him and relying on various gadgets should give me an edge in combat. That said, avoiding a fight is always the best option, which is why time is an important factor. Through surveillance, I have managed to locate where Goliath and his men hide during the day. You see, the reason why they only come out during the night is not just to better hide their existence, but because come the rise of the sun, the gargoyles will be turned into stone. As such, they will hide themselves among the other statues, where one would not give them a second glance. This is where they are at their most vulnerable, and was unfortunately how the people they once trusted were able to destroy most of them. But trust me when I say I have no intentions of thinning out an already endangered species. One may think that it's the light of the sun itself that causes this change, but even I was surprised to find that this is not the case, meaning that the gargoyles are subject to the day-night cycle itself, and from the looks of it, that changes depending on what time zone they find themselves in. There was a situation in which Goliath had managed to free himself from this cycle, however, during the time which he donned the artifact known as the Eye of Odin, one which not only freed him from the need of his stone sleep, but also greatly enhanced his power. This, however, was a double-edged sword. as the power it granted him slowly started to corrupt him, slowly turning him into a tyrant. Fortunately, enough of his own personality was able to resist this power enough to give it up, returning it to its original owner, and seeing that the item would never be used by anyone else again. As with any situation, there is a nuclear option, a final resort that I can implement should the need arise. You see, there is a spell that can make a gargoyle's stone sleep permanent, and I know a few people who could recreate it. It'd be a simple solution, but I don't want it to come to that. Goliath and his men are noble, and should you treat them with the same level of respect, they can be loyal allies, which is why I would prefer it if we fought alongside one another rather than against. I'm currently working towards making contact with them, extending an olive branch if you would. The idea is to convince them to turn Gotham into their new home. I will provide them everything they need, with the hopes that they would help in protecting the innocent. This could prove tricky, however, as they have had a run-in with a rich CEO with similar promises. And as Goliath is no fool, I know he'll be quick to be skeptical if not outright reject my offer. I wouldn't be able to blame him if he did, but I will do what I can to gain his trust. In the end, I hope to have another ally in the night whom I can trust at my side. If you also have a character you wish for me to cover, or just want to support this channel, I'll have a link to my Ko-fi page. There will also be a Google Doc with the list of characters who have ever been done or already commissioned by others.